So recently I was contacted by a company called Space Gravity LLC, and they're based out of Texas, and they said they had a product that they wanted me to check out. And yeah, I'm all about helping out a company in Texas. So I checked out the website, I took a look at this product that they called the Glydecharge, and after reading up on it on their website, let's just say we've never seen something like this on this channel. So we're going to check it out. Hey everybody, it's Chris from Family Geekery, and today we're going to be testing out this Glydecharge, which is let's let them describe it. Right over here. High capacity, remote controlled power bank. That's what it says, remote controlled power bank. And we'll look at all those specs, we'll test everything out. We're going to see what this thing can be used for, what its intent is, and play around with it, test it out, and see what it can do. So let's go ahead and open this box up and see what this Glydecharge looks like. Alright, so let's take a look at what's inside the package, and I will tell you that this thing was packaged up well protected inside there. We've got, of course, the Glydecharge itself. We'll take a look at that. We've got a USB-C to USB-C cable that can be used either to charge it or to charge something else from it. And then we've got a DC cable, so it actually right angle on one side and a straight plug on the other side. They call this the DC extension cable. We'll look at that. We got a DC port on there. This can be used to power something from there. And then, of course, the star of the show, we've got this little dude, which is the remote control. And this is not a El Cheapo plastic remote control. This is a nice, solid piece of tech here. This is really cool. Would have been nice to have a little keychain on there so you don't lose it, but you can get those pretty cheap anywhere. Let's take a look at the Glydecharge itself and see what the features are. We've got on here a power button, and we'll see these LEDs here for the battery indicators. We've got a USB-C port over here, which is listed as 5 to 20 volts, 3 amps, but I believe the specs say that it's capable of 65 watts of power delivery, both in and out. We've got a USB-A on the right-hand side here, which is your basic 5 to 12 volt, 1.5 amps, up to 18 watts. And then we've got a DC plug here in the middle, which is 12 volts, 4.2 amps, so basically a little over 50 watts. And that's going to be an output only, but that's kind of nifty that you can use this to charge some kind of 12 volt device or to power some kind of 12 volt device. And if you listen to what I just said there, those two words, charge or power devices, that's kind of the terminology that they use when they're describing the use cases for this. It sounds like they are calling this a power brick, where you could actually have this on your desk, plug it into power, and it has pass-through charging, so you can use this to power up some devices. And then when you're ready to go with it, just unplug it and then use it as a battery bank itself. Now, since you're powering it over this USB-C here, then I imagine that use case would be that you are going to be charging something or powering something over this USB-A. Now, where the remote control comes into play is once you put this thing into a standby mode, then you can power the ports on and off with this remote control. So their intent is to have this thing helping you out with some kind of adventure, maybe hiking or camping or something like that. And to be able to use something like this to maybe have some kind of USB lights maybe for your tent and have the ability to turn them on and off with the remote control, I think that's pretty nifty. They say it's the only power bank, remote controlled power bank on the market. I believe that. I've never seen one, but we're definitely going to play around with it today. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on just by a single press here. And we can see what the battery level is. So let's just see what the remote control does. In this case, I turn it off. You can see these lights. I don't know if you saw that, but they went from 4 down to 0. And I think it's still in this standby mode, so if I hit the on button, the lights just went right back up again. So I'm going to guess it's powering these things up. We're going to plug some things in and find out. But the first thing I want to do is get this thing charging. So I'm going to use the USB-C cable. I'm going to plug it into my desktop charger here. It does not come with a power delivery charger, but anything like one of these guys here, a little 65 watt gallium nitrate charger or something like that, you can grab those pretty cheap on Amazon. And to be honest, if you're looking at this kind of tech gear, you probably have a charger already. So let's go ahead and get this thing plugged into the desktop charger and get it charging up. Alright, so now we are charging up, and you can see the lights here. They are starting to go up in power, and over on my charger here I can see it's got about 55 watts going in, looks like right now. And important to note, you can't have this thing charging into it with the device turned on. So I hit the off button, the LEDs went down, and then as soon as it went down into that kind of standby mode, then it started charging right away. Now, while this is charging, let's talk about the batteries that are inside here. These are, of course, lithium iron phosphate batteries. Those are the kinds that you want for portable devices like this because they are safe, and there are several different safety circuits and safety protections put in here. They list them on their website, overcharge protection and stuff like that. And the capacity of this thing is 99.84 watt hours. And that's important to note because 99.84 is about as many watt hours as you can put into a portable device like this and still carry it on a plane. FAA regulations here in the States require a device like this to be less than 100 watt hours. And it is listed on the label on the bottom, so in case anybody stops you with this thing in your backpack, you can show them and they'll understand that that does meet their requirements. Now this is a little bit chunkier than maybe like this Jackery right here. At least it's a different shape and size. It's about the same weight. Not much difference weight-wise, but a little different shape. This is also right there at that 100 watt hours. And then so is a device like this cheapo guy here. About the same capacity, same type of batteries. So you can see kind of how the size fits in this ecosystem of airplane-safe power banks. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let this thing charge up a little bit. And I'm going to set up a device to test the output of this USB-C port. So let me get that set up and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got this all the way charged up. And I got it connected here to a MacBook Pro. And the reason why I use a MacBook Pro for this test is that the MacBook Pro can tell me in the software what kind of charger it thinks it's plugged into. So because Apple makes so many different types of chargers, it can identify how much power it's drawing and identify the charger. So in this case, we've got the system status screen pulled up here. And the text may be a little bit small, but I promise you it says, yes, I am connected to an AC charger, and that AC charger is a 65 watt charger. So we are charging out of here into this MacBook Pro at 65 watts, and that's exactly as it's advertised. Now, I will tell you it's a little tricky charging things when you've got multiple devices that are bidirectional, meaning this is an input and an output, and this is primarily an input, but it can output power, and it did flake up a little bit. I tried with some other devices like other power banks that had inputs and outputs on the same port, and it's really just kind of a roll of dice whether this device is going to think, hey, I'm charging something, or hey, I should be charged. But luckily, you can tell right on the LEDs here that if they're climbing up, that means that this thing is being charged. So if that's not the state that you want it in, then you may have to unplug the cable, plug it back in, get the two devices to renegotiate, and sometimes that will toggle it. I myself am getting very tired of all these devices being sent out with bidirectional USB-C ports. It seems like a convenience, but it's really not. And that's not the fault of this device. That's just the USB-C standard. Now, as I'm even talking about this, you can see exactly what's happening here is this light is climbing up. And the charge indicator, which was in the upper right-hand corner up here, which you can't see because of all the glare, but the charge indicator is now gone. So the battery thinks that it is charging this, and that's not a good idea because a MacBook Pro should not be charging a power bank. So let's unplug this thing. Alright, next thing I wanted to do is test out this DC output jack here. It's supposed to be 12 volts. So I plugged the extension in. I'm just going to use this voltmeter here just to test the output. So let's go ahead and see what we got. And we got 12.01 volts. So yep, exactly as described. 12 volts output. Now that's supposed to be good for a little over 4 amps, so about 50 watts. I don't have anything handy here that I can plug this into to test that to see if it's actually delivering 50 watts, but I'm sure it is. The other thing I wanted to see is if this DC output jack is switched by the remote. So let's go ahead and hit the off button here. And the lights just went down. So let's see if we still get any voltage or nothing at all. And we are showing 0 there. So let me see if I can hit this on button with my thumb. Clicking on now. And it went right up to 12 volts. So yes, this 12 volt jack is switched. So that's good to go. Let's go ahead and grab something, plug it into the USB port, and test that out. Alright, so the handiest thing I had with a USB-C connector is this DVOOM timesgate. Nifty little device I just reviewed on the channel. You can check that out. But I've got it plugged in here. Of course, this was already turned on and it's in the switched mode, so I can use the remote. And of course, it's powering it fine. This thing only needs 5 volts at 1 amp. So let's go ahead and test out this remote again. Let's turn it off. And yep, just like that, the USB-A port turns off whatever device you have plugged in. So it could be some string lights around the tent, could be a little lantern or something, but that's pretty nifty. Let's go ahead and turn it back on. And this thing does have a little bit of a boot up time that's going to take to load everything in, but it absolutely turned right back on, and it's got power to the USB-C port again. So pretty cool. Now in the process of testing the USB-C port earlier, I was switching it on and off, and it does work. One thing to note is you cannot have this thing charging, so charging from another device, when it's in the mode that you can switch it on and off. At least when it's charging, you can't switch it on and off. And that makes sense, because if you've got something plugged in here, if you get this plugged into the wall charging, you wouldn't want to turn this thing on and have this thing all of a sudden try to output power, because it's obviously plugged into a wall jack. But I think we've tested just about all the features from this thing. And from everything I tested, of course, everything worked. We had some flakiness with the USB-C port. Again, not something that is unique to this Glydecharge. That is just a problem with bidirectional USB-C ports. So manufacturers, if you're watching this, stop doing that. Give me an input port. Give me an output port. Let me decide what I want to do with my USB-C. And in this case, if they were to add that on here, you'd be able to charge it in and charge something out of that USB-C port at the same time, which would be a next step up in features for this device. But nifty little device, something that you could definitely put in your backpack, bring on a plane, keep your Steam Deck charged up. It's got plenty of power to charge some kind of handheld gaming device like that, even charge your laptop while you're on a long flight. This extra 100 watt hours of power will definitely come in handy. But if you're just out on the trails, doing some hiking, backpacking, camping, whatever you're doing, then obviously this will keep your phones and tablets and those type of devices charged up. Maybe you've got a GPS or one of those locator beacons that you want to keep charged up. You definitely don't want to run out of battery for those. It is built pretty sturdy. I would have no concerns about putting this in a backpack and hiking around with it. So if you're ready to take an adventure with this guy, I'll go ahead and leave some links down in the description below of where you can find out more information and where you can buy it right from their website. But I think that's going to do it for this one. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, I appreciate a thumbs up. Go ahead and check out the rest of the channel. Lots of geeky stuff on there. Lots of other reviews on power banks and solar chargers and all kinds of nifty geeky stuff. So go ahead and check out the channel. That's going to do it for this one. I thank you as always for watching, and until next time, peace out and geek out.